Doctor's office is pretty much like a residency. You know how in medical school, when people are going to become doctors, they do a residency where they're learning how to be doctors. They're working at a hospital or something like that and learning how to be doctors. The public defender's office and the state attorney's office to some extent is kind of like that for new lawyers. As soon as we graduate from law school, if we want a lot of trial experience very quickly, we go to the public defender's office or the state attorney's office. Because the public defender's office represents poor people, we are learning how to practice law at their expense. That's really the part of the residency that we're doing, is at the expense of poor people, but we have to jump up to the learning curve very quickly because we're dealing with people. And we begin to know their families and their lives and them, and we begin to care about what happens to them. So it makes us have to step up to the learning curve very quickly. So when I began to practice, I won some cases, I lost some cases, I won some cases that I should have lost. I lost some cases that I should have won. One example is I represented a woman in a case. We had a jury trial, and the trial was won. It was over. It was done. The state rested their case. That means they were done, and it was time for me to present my case. But based on the way that the testimony had gone up until that point, it was a clear win. There was no question about it. But I had a client, a female client, that was very talkative. She liked to talk, and she had a little bit of an attitude. There was no way that she was going to leave this trial without being heard. And as soon as she got on the stand, it was an absolute disaster. It was an absolute disaster. She came with the attitude. She came with all of that. And have you seen people where you hear them talk and you said whatever it is that they said you did, you did? Yeah, it was one of those situations. It was very clear. It didn't even come down to the cross-examination of the state attorney. She was canning herself just in her delivery and her presentation. And the case was lost. The jury came back and said guilty. And at the end of the case, once it was over, the judge just tapped her on the wrist. This is when I was in misdemeanor. She didn't get any time actually in jail. But when the case was over, the judge was like, Natasha, why did you let that lady testify? The case was won. Why'd you let her testify? And I'm just like, all I can do is throw up my hands. The bailiff chimed in and was like, Natasha, you know better. Why you put that lady on the stand? You know how she was going to act. All I could do, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes my sisters just got to be heard. But I can't tell them that I've had this conversation and I told her not to testify. She had a right to, and she was going to have the last, word and what she had.